student 5 for Tom. Do you feel the school board should be more open and transparent with the community?
I don't feel our school district is open and transparent. And I don't mean that in a malicious way or that people are intentionally hiding things, but maybe we've just done things a certain way for so long that we just don't know how to do it any other way. And in my opinion, we do the bare minimum. I just don't think that reconciles with the world we live in anymore. There's a thirst for this information. And by not proactively satisfying it, we're creating conflict. We're creating our own problems. Now, until very recently, the only way you could really know what was happening at a school board meeting was to attend. The alternative was word of mouth, whatever the Waterford Post decided to report, or trying to piece together the board minutes on the district site. Now, thanks to a hardworking citizen and in direct opposition to some members of the board, we can now watch the videos online. But that's not the school board being open, that's a community member making them be open. For example, look at the recent school lunch decision that I talked about earlier. That was on the local news. If I'm a community member and I saw that, but wasn't aware of that decision and wanted to learn more, what would I do? Well, I could stumble around on the district website and find the meeting minutes and try to piece it together with that, which is pretty tough. If I was persistent, I'd eventually find the videos online, but I'd have to sit through them and try to figure out when it was talked about, for how long. The reality is, they're getting half the story on Facebook, and it grows from there in a game of telephone. This goes back to what I mentioned earlier about creating our own problems. I'd love to see a robust website that put this information at everyone's fingertips. Imagine this scenario. I Google our school district, I'm taken to the page, I'm immediately presented with a link to the school board site, I'm taken to a nice, clean homepage that shows the issues being debated in committee, the issues up for vote, the recent school board decisions. I see my school lunch link, I click on that, I'm presented with a summary of the issue. I can see how each of the school board members voted, along with their reasoning. We can let the site allow them to add that if they chose. The video of the meeting, because quite frankly, our district should be videotaping those school board meetings. And remember, all those conversations we're having on Facebook about what's going on in the community, we can pull all that right in there as well, and I could just jump right into the conversation with everybody else. How great would that be? Isn't that what we just kind of expect nowadays when we turn on a computer? If you're considering moving to our district and you see that, aren't you impressed and say, wow, these guys really have their act together? This isn't science fiction. It doesn't take a team of developers and $1 million to put something like this together. I'll build it myself. I'll give it to Waterford and I'll sell it to other districts. This is just how I want my hometown to operate. Issues facing our school district should be acknowledged publicly, discussed as much as possible out in the open, and the community should be updated on the progress in resolving them. We need to embrace big ideas, and the school board needs to take control of its own narrative. Thank you.
First, I want to take a second to kind of answer what Tom was saying before about not exactly knowing where I stand on the 4K program. It's simple. With the federal 4K program, 100% against it. When it comes to a private 4K program, I am all for that. I believe that private programs are always a better way to go. And he mentioned too that we're not average. All other places have it. We're the odd duck out. I think that's great. We want to be different. We want to be better than everybody else, and I think that's how it should be. Now, going over to transparency. Before we can answer that question, I think first we need to know what is transparency. Transparency implies openness, communication, and accountability. Transparency is operating in such a way that it is easy for others to see what actions are performed. I'm proud to say I think the board is very transparent. Now, is it perfect? Not by any stretch of the imagination. But they do have other things, such as open record requests are free, that you can't say the same about the state or the federal government. You can come to the 2 monthly meetings. They're open for everybody. On top of that, as I've said before, I do plan to open up all lines of communication. One of the ways I plan on doing that to make it a little bit better is to have talking sessions with the community. It could be at a local business, it could be at the library, similar to the 4K thing that they had before. We would talk about current events within the community, within the board, take questions, comments, concerns. If there's something that a particular person has an issue that they want brought up at the board, they can come there. They don't have to worry about it being videotaped where they're scared to come up and talk. And like I said before, it's going to be open to everybody. It'll be at different times, so that way if somebody happens to be working on a Saturday this month, maybe next month it'll be on a Thursday or a Sunday or, various days, various times, just so that way everybody is available to come. The goal is to make it so everybody in the community, everyone in the community has a voice, and that's what I plan to do.
All of those ideas are great, but that's always them coming to us. You coming to us. I appreciate every single one of you that came here today. I know it took time out of your busy schedules. You probably have spouses watching kids and the whole 9 yards, and I truly appreciate that. But again, you had to come here. Now, this is being videotaped, and we'll watch the number of hits afterwards of people who, didn't have time to come here, didn't have the ability to get a babysitter, but we still want them involved. That's the kind of involvement I'm pushing. The tools that are going to be out there in the open, and anybody can get at it any time, whether it's 1 o'clock in the morning or middle of the day. You don't have to come here to participate. Now, to go back, that 4K comment Jordan just made about being different and being great, not having the services. Another thing Jordan mentions on his site is getting involved with local businesses and figuring out ways to bring business into Waterford. Well, I can tell you that if businesses are looking at different areas, one of the first things they're going to look at is the school systems. And they're going to compare services. And they're going to say, okay, we have a district here that offers 4K, which is going to be a tremendous benefit to our employees. And we have a district here that doesn't. So when you're doing your good old Benjamin Franklin and you're tallying out the different benefits to each place, which one you're going to pick? You're going to pick the one with the better services. And I'm not up here saying, you know what, I want to offer a better service and trying to sell you how much it's going to cost you. I'm up here saying, let's offer a better service, and I'm going to give you money. That's the idea here. Again, everybody can win. Thank you.
I gotta say, I know a lot of business owners, and I don't know a single one that said, I'm not gonna go to Waterford because there's not a 4K program. If they're gonna be looking at what our schools are offering, they're gonna look at the statistics of where our schools rank, not what necessarily is offered, because they care more about the clientele coming in versus necessarily the programs offered by the school. And like you said, social media, internet, that's all great. I plan on using that. But what about the citizens that don't have access to the internet? The citizens that are intimidated by the internet? That's why I plan on being available through in person, because I think that's a lot more personable. And I plan on meeting people in their houses, at businesses, wherever they want to meet. I plan on reaching out to them as good as I can.